Imagine betting your life on a card game where the rules change mid-match and a demon watches you lose everything. Now imagine doing this on purpose. This is ACMA Game. What's up, weebs and drama enthusiasts? Today we're talking about ACMA Game, a show where Death Note meets Squid Game, and they have a baby in Japan who makes questionable life choices. Before you click away thinking, another live-action adaptation, ruining everything I love, hear me out. This show works. You watch people play mind games, you stress out, you yell at your screen, and you enjoy every second. This is the 2024 Japanese drama on Amazon Prime. Nobody talks about this show. The production value looks like 3 ramen noodles and a dream, funded the whole thing. But here we are, talking about why you need to watch this. Here's the deal. There are 99 mystical keys called the Devil's Keys. Collect all of them and you get unlimited power, unlimited money, everything you want. The catch? You win these keys by playing games hosted by literal demons. Not evil people, actual supernatural creatures who referee these matches. Our protagonist is Oda Teruasa, rich kid, heir to a massive trading company, living the good life. Then someone murders his father right in front of him. Instead of brooding for 50 episodes, Teruasa investigates by entering deadly psychological games. This man's grief response is voluntary life or death competitions, not therapy, a speedrun. The show takes mind games from Death Note, desperation from Squid Game, adds gambling show twists, throws in supernatural elements, and sets everything in Japan. And somehow, this works. ACMA Game separates itself here. Every episode features a different game with different rules. These rules make you question your understanding of logic and strategy. We're not talking about run faster than the other guy. These games require mastery of deception, psychology, probability, and mental fortitude to sit through someone explaining insanely complicated rules while your brain melts. One game involves card deceptions. You lie convincingly enough to make your opponent question reality. Another involves shadow stepping where the rules are so convoluted, I'm still not 100% sure how this works, and I watched the whole thing. Squid Game went to Harvard. The writers spent absurd amounts of time figuring out games looking impossible to win, but with these exploitable logical flaws somewhere. You'll pause multiple times thinking, wait, they do this? Is this legal? The demon said legal, so I guess legal? What are the rules? Beautiful part? Every episode has one moment where your protagonist uses lateral thinking to find a loophole. The entire game flips on its head. Watching someone speedrun through a puzzle you spent 10 minutes thinking about. Fair warning, the show will not hold your hand explaining every single detail. Sometimes you finish an episode still confused about what happened. Not a flaw, part of the ACMA Game experience. Confusion with satisfaction. Let's talk characters. This is where the show gets interesting beyond game mechanics. Oda Teruasa is our main protagonist. He's different from typical shonen characters. He's not trying to save anyone, or fighting for justice, or friendship, or the power of Nakama. He's trying to solve his father's murder and collect enough keys to get information. He's selfish, methodical, and refreshingly pragmatic. The supporting cast? These people aren't his loyal friends who believe in him unconditionally. These are people with their own agendas, their own demons, their own reasons for playing the game. Yuki, Ui, Senya, they're all players themselves. Sometimes they play against Teruasa, sometimes they play with him, sometimes you're not even sure. The show does this thing where characters you thought were friends suddenly become rivals. Rivals reveal they had sympathetic motivations all along. Everyone plays 4D chess, while Teruasa plays 3D chess and we're all confused. The best part? People aren't villainous because they're evil. They're conflicted because they have legitimate reasons for wanting what they want. There's no I'm evil for the sake of it nonsense. Everyone has stakes, everyone has desperation. The psychological warfare feels real and uncomfortable instead of cartoonish. Here's what separates ACMA Game from other competition shows. The game is secondary to psychological manipulation happening before, during, and after. Before a game starts, players declare their bets. This is where things get messed up. You bet money, you bet your freedom, you bet your own life. Once you make the bet, the demon confirms. Now there are stakes beyond winning a game. During the game, you're not trying to win. You're trying to figure out your opponent's devil power, understand their psychological triggers, and exploit them mentally while also winning the game. After the game, the loser accepts the winner's demands, but here's the kicker. The wishes are granted exactly as stated. You want to be very careful with your wording, because if you say something sarcastic or use double meanings, the universe interprets in the worst way possible and the demons sit back and enjoy the show. The show constantly reminds you where superpowers exist. The most dangerous weapon is still good old human manipulation. Way more interesting than watching people throw energy blasts. Let's address the elephant in the room. This show looks like someone filmed in their garage with a budget costing 3 espressos. The graphics are intentionally retro, the demon character designs look like they wandered out of a PS2 cutscene, the special effects are so hilariously low budget you'll either love them ironically or hate them unironically. No middle ground. But here's the thing, the cheap visuals work in the show's favour because they force you to focus on the plot and dialogue instead of getting distracted by the flashy special effects. The show said, we don't have the money for CGI, so we're making the story and characters so good you'll forget the demons look like they're from a low budget PlayStation game. The acting is solid, the cinematography is decent, the pacing is tight, 10 episodes, no filler. Each one moves the plot forward while delivering episodic game drama. Respect your time, in 2024 this is worth more than gold. Without spoiling too much, ACMA Game is about Teruasa trying to figure out who killed his father and why. But the show is about how far someone will go for revenge, whether morality matters when you're desperate, and whether friendship survives when there's a mystical key collecting tournament involved. The mystery unfolds gradually. You might not immediately understand how each game connects to the larger plot. By the end, you realize every single match has been strategically building towards something bigger. Less random episodic games and more carefully orchestrated chess pieces leading to a checkmate. The show doesn't shy away from morally complex moments where you're genuinely unsure whether or not you should root for the protagonist or question his choices. He's not a good person, he's the person we're following. A subtle but important distinction. There's this undercurrent about whether the keys are even real, or if this is all some elaborate psychological experiment. The show leaves enough ambiguity you'll argue with friends afterwards. The hallmark of a solid mystery. One thing I appreciate about ACMA Game is the show knows exactly how many episodes are needed. 10 episodes, no filler, no dragging out the story for a second season nobody asked for. Each episode introduces a new opponent, a new game, a new layer of mystery. The show wastes zero time getting to the good stuff. By episode 2, you're already balls deep in psychological warfare and wondering if anyone is who they say they are. The pacing is tight enough, you'll probably binge the whole thing in one sitting. Dangerous because your brain will be exhausted, and also terrified you somehow made a deal with a demon and forgot about it? Each key comes with a unique ability called the Devil's Power. This is where the show gets clever about balancing game mechanics. One character can lie perfectly and have people believe them, another predicts probability, another manipulating luck itself. The interesting part is watching players figure out what their opponent's power is during the game, and then strategizing around it. Not, oh, my power is stronger so I win. Powers are more like tools players neutralize or exploit by a clever enough opponent. The game mechanics matter more than raw power level. A refreshing take on the whole superpowers in competition genre. So, is ACMA Game worth watching? Yes, if you like psychological thrillers, mystery plots, and don't mind production values looking like they were filmed on a budget of vibes and determination. Not perfect. Sometimes the game explanations can get convoluted, sometimes you'll need to rewind to understand what happened, and sometimes the special effects will pull you out of the moment. But the core of the show is genuinely engaging and well executed. If you've burned through Squid Game and Alice in Borderland, and you're looking for something similar but different, ACMA Game is exactly what you need. It's proof you don't need a massive Hollywood budget to tell a compelling story about desperate people playing dangerous games. Plus, watching people have existential crises over the exact wording of their wishes is genuinely entertaining. Watching someone learn a hard lesson about being specific in your requests, except the lesson might kill them. So if you watched ACMA Game, are you planning to now? Let me know in the comments which character you think would win if they were all thrown into a real world competition. And remember, if anyone offers you a mystical key getting you superpowers through deadly games, the answer is no. Please, for your own safety, just say no. Until next time, keep watching weird Japanese dramas looking like they were made on a shoestring budget, and keep supporting the creators who prove good storytelling beats good graphics every single time. Peace.